Larry the Starfish, he loves comedy. Who's Larry the Starfish? He is me. Starfish is funny on levels and levels. One, it's a stuffed animal that does more than a VC. A starfish in bed is a person who spreads out like a starfish. 5 arms, all of them potent, Larry the Starfish. Look, we've got crabs, GW, and friends. Because when we're transitioning from starfish to crabs, we're realizing that crabs, with their ginormous claws, they kind of try to keep each other in the crab pot. That's not a good thing where you don't need to be a crab in a pot. Larry, what are you doing on YouTube if you don't want to be a crab in a pot? Crab in a bucket. I'm here to show you that you don't have to be a crab and that there is no bucket. Let's try to get rid of 2 things: the bucket and you being a crab. Power over people. When you don't have a lot of money, power, or friends, you try to get power over people. That's not a good thing. That's a symptom of being a crab in a bucket. Do you want to have power over small animals? Do you want to have power over yourself? That would be a terrific start. When you try to get power over people, it's going to short circuit you. Why? Because you're not trying to self-improve. You're not trying to have power over your future self. Because when you don't have power over yourself, you're going to do something that's lowest common denominator, which is, oh, I'm just going to try to have power over my remote control. This is where I might just try to get power over something that I can manipulate short term. Why? Not that your brain is broken, because it's fixable, but because we're all wired into our smartphone that causes us to think, hey, if I can drag a person into my misery, then my misery enjoys the company. This is crabs in a bucket. This is point number 1, which is, what patterns repeat and what problems have you experienced where you think to yourself, oh my God, I'm stuck in a loop? This is where we can see in other people, oh my God, they're an NPC. This is where we can see in other people, oh my God, do you not see it? You do the same thing. This is where, if we are good friends, which is point number 3, which I will get to, we would be third-party perspectiving. If we were good friends, we would be offering a perspective. But let's say that we don't have good friends right now. Who's our first good friend going to be? That would be ourselves. Doing what? Doing third-party perspective. Where do you journal? Where do you take notes on YouTube videos? Where do you improve at a perspective of time where you're not experiencing your problem firsthand. So, topic one is crabs in a bucket, where we are the sum total of the 5 people that we hang out with most. And let's say that our friend group is limited right now. That would be then adjusted to we are the sum total of the 5 YouTube influencers that we spend the most amount of time watching. Because of that truth, then we can go towards an awareness. Aliana, take over, says hi. How are you? Good to hang out with you. We are actually talking about how we hang out with the 5 YouTube influencers that we spend the most amount of time with. Let's look at 9 different gateways to a crabby mentality. Is that supposed to be a joke, Larry? Oh, like a starfish being friends with a crab, we're looking at a concept called scarcity mindset within scarcity mindset within crabs in a bucket. Alina. Am I pronouncing that correctly now? Alina. Good to have you. Welcome. Self-sabotage, number 1. So, self-sabotage is where we're trying to leave a crab. We're trying to leave the bucket as a crab. We're trying to leave the pot as a frog. And then we self-sabotage by saying, oh, that relationship with Larry Chang, it's okay. And then you end up getting stuck via self-sabotage. So self-sabotage is complex, where the concept summarized is this. Knowing that there's a certain level of certainty is much more refreshing than the alternative, which is, oh my God, I have no idea what to expect. Even though there might seem to be no risk, you just are more comfortable with the situation that you have self-sabotaged your way into. This is the point in the video where I quote a Lululemon bag, which is, do one thing per day that scares you. What you're doing here by crabs is you're attempting to do starfish behavior. Why? Because crabs tend to protect their belly and not do what a starfish does, which is expose their belly. Are these jokes that we're telling? Yeah. But what we're looking at is, by doing one thing per day that scares you, you're finding a new boundary. You're playfully doing something that's adventurous, which is actually point number 2, GW, George Washington. Oh my God, I thought a boring history book was going to be boring. I ripped through that book like it was an action movie. Point number 1, self-sabotage. Do one thing a day that scares you. Hey, what if I try to read for 60 minutes in public? That sounds scary to you. It sounds scary to you. Envy in the rationale to not try. Ooh. Reading in public. Are you envious that I had the gall to read for 60 minutes in public? Wow. Alina thinks I'm so smart. I'm going to connect with you and talk about envy. Are you envious in a way that my brain works? because you shouldn't be, because we're just playfully talking about Larry the Starfish, loving comedy, mentorship. Point number 3, 9 gateways towards scarcity mindset. With mentorship, this is the fastest way for us to springboard out of being a crab in a bucket. Why? Because your mentor, they don't live in the bucket with you. Your mentor is not only a ladder out of the bucket if we're all crabs in a bucket, which means this. Crabs in a bucket means this. You're doomed if you stay in the bucket. So you try to leave the bucket, but every time you leave the bucket, another crab sees that you're almost out of the bucket and then pulls you back in. You're not cooperating to leave the bucket. You're being a crab in a bucket. That's the metaphor for crabs. Is this going to transition to the sexually transmitted disease? No. Mentorship. When you're leaving the bucket, a mentor helps you leave the bucket. But why is mentorship point number 3 of the 9 gateways towards a scarcity mindset? You see, a mentor is a person who's assumed to be a positive role model, positive example, positive teacher. But remember, this is scarcity mindset. Are you by default getting mentored by somebody who maybe doesn't have your best interest in mind? Because it's you having power over yourself and a little bit of self-discipline. Will one of your friends just say, oh, you're going to apply for 5 jobs using that technique that you saw on a Larry Chang video? Do that tomorrow. Today's a chill day. It's Tuesday. Do that later. This trip to the mall, it can't wait. That's a default mentor who's mentoring you to do things that cause you to be stuck. This is why you're the sum total of the 5 people that you hang out with most. This is why you're the sum total of the 5 people that you watch most on YouTube. Do you want to watch a video about self-improvement or a video about comedy in living our life? Or do you want to watch a video about something that's completely brain rot where, hey, if 10 people upvote my video, I'm going to make out with a starfish? And then you get psychologically sucked into something that causes you to feel like you need to take a shower afterwards. Point number 4. Is a portion of your brain frozen? It turns out a lot of people have a portion of the brain that's frozen. This is where people even joke, hey, do you realize that I only use 10% of my brain? What? You're proud of that? Frozen brain, unlocking portions of your brain. This is not going to be a video about meditation. It is a video about meditation. Basically, what happens when you meditate is you unlock ginormous swaths in your brain. Beta, alpha, theta, delta. Beta waves, alpha waves, theta waves, delta waves. All these different waves behave differently when you're in a seated meditation, in your talking meditation. That's why this video feels different, is because I'm willfully trying to fix myself while bringing an awareness to us fixing each other in spending time talking. Portions of our brain frozen, 9 gateways towards a scarcity mindset. Networking, number 5. Whoever wrote the script, I'm very happy. So, that was a joke. I wrote the script. So in networking, what we're doing is we're connecting you to me in a way that's both incredibly common and incredibly unique. The common way is, yeah, Larry, this is a YouTube Live. I've been on 1,000 of them. But this becomes a two-way conversation. Why? Because it's not just Web 2, the social media. It's Web 12, where I invite you to write a summary of, hey, I thought that a Chinese cowboy was going to just be telling hilarious jokes because I've been in 3 of his prior videos and he's funny. Or you thought to yourself, hey, I actually learned 1 or 2 things. Is he joking? The tough part about delivering content is, can you make the content that's technical also humorous? Which is why this becomes two-way. Because your brain might get spun into a pretzel. Why? Because your brain might be firing off in ways that cause you to feel tingles. This is where we're networking. This is where we don't need to be doing the bad networking of pulling otters down. Misery loves company, where we're drowning because look at how the world is wired. We're having some pretty difficult times in the world. Are we going to pull someone else down because we're drowning? No. That's why we're talking about number 7, which is abundance. Larry, stop talking about abundance. You sound like a new age yoga teacher. What are you, a yoga teacher? Are you a yoga teacher? Yeah, actually I am. And that's why we can talk about abundance being an option. What's abundance? Abundance is where you don't worry about the limitless amount of value that I'm dispensing, where you then say, oh my God, this video is so valuable. Is he gonna make me pull off my panties? No, I can't even see you. This is a one-way video. That's why abundance is where you just say thank you. You don't have to worry about being obligated. It's kind of like where the really attractive girl goes, hey, you look thirsty, let me buy you a drink. Are you hungry? Let's go get some food, my treat. Where if I didn't have abundance mindset, I'd think, oh my God, are you trying to kidnap me by luring me away from this party to go to another party where you feed me drinks and ply me with food? That's abundance, because this video is going to be abundantly helpful. Just relax and Starfish take it. Just relax and realize this abundance was engineered in via the written word, via my script. complex justifications to short circuit. You see, a lot of these things are because people's brains have a circuit that short circuited where I don't know why I do that, Larry. I just do it. Or I don't know why, whatever. Excuse, excuse, excuse. It's complex justifications to short circuit. It might even be because of the the pedo pattern, which is repeating yourself for dark reasons because something happened to you when you're a kid and you now are trying to get power over it because you won't address it specifically. Complex justifications. What happens with a brain on short circuiting is this: you can't delay gratification. That's the whole problem with crabs in a bucket. Because why can't the crabs just line up in an orderly fashion? Why can't the crabs just line up in an orderly fashion in order to leave the bucket? Why? It's because they're trying to tear each other down while simultaneously not being able to do delayed gratification. This is a test for us to attempt delayed gratification. What are we going to try to do? You pick. You pick the delayed gratification task. Today is day 32 of the hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking bankruptcy. Where what do you want to do that practices your delayed gratification? Are you at least going to write down, hey, if I try this delayed gratification thing one time, I get to fix my brain? Is it writing a letter to a credit bureau? It could be, because in America, you can improve your FICO score dramatically by writing letters to Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. It's like a giant dollop of delayed gratification. What's another way to practice delayed gratification? That would be time preferences. Have you been able to read 60 minutes in public like a psychopath? So, in a coffee shop, everybody's got a computer. Why is that computer the default? Why? Because it's kind of my little blocker. I'm pretending to be busy while I'm doing social media, or I'm working in a coffee shop because I have too many distractions at home. These are time preferences. This is where instead of going to a coffee shop, you're leaving work, not necessarily to eat lunch in a coffee shop. You're leaving work for a 60-minute work break, and then you're allocating that 60-minute work break into 60 minutes of reading in public. Why are we doing this? Because we're practicing time preferences. Why? Because we're practicing our ability to delay gratification. Does lunch sound really delicious right now at the AYCE, the all-you-can-eat buffet? Oh yeah. Wait a minute. Instead of going to all-you-can-eat buffet, you're gonna just read a book? Yeah. And then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna eat later? No. We're just gonna fast. Wait a minute. You're basically gonna go to a restaurant, read a book for 60 minutes, and not eat? Yes. Larry, that makes you a psychopath. No, it's actually just discipline. It's the discipline of trying to be disciplined, trying to delay gratification, trying to gamify your own time preferences. Why? This isn't a video about dopamine detoxification, but it is because when you wire your brain to not do short-term gratification, that's you doing delayed gratification. This is us crabs in a bucket leaving. This is X value generation where we get paid Y. This is where we're not just going to be seeking, hey, dollars per hour, dollars per hour. I only have one business model, which is dollars per hour. This is delayed gratification where initially your dollars per hour might be low, but we're working up to hunting X value, getting paid Y as our payment for hunting X value, aka solving problems, also known as delaying gratification. Can you move from a model of, hey, I'm going to need to make 26 bucks an hour, or hey, Larry, how do you even think to make $28,800 per hour? Well, if you do the math, the only way to ever get to $1 billion is by working at $28,000 per hour. How does that even happen, Larry? That would be gamifying your time preferences, realizing if you're complaining about the minimum wage, that you can't make ends meet, you're complaining to the government as your sugar daddy, I'm not getting paid enough money. That's crabs in a bucket. The government is going to make you go bankrupt. Oh, Larry, if we just get some laws passed, we can all get paid more money. Yeah, that's crabs in a bucket, in a different kind of bucket, where that bucket is now called communism. Constantly causing problems. Ooh, this is a good one. When we are crabs in a bucket, we end up not hunting for problems to solve. We're trying to cause problems and then solve those problems. It's a complex crab maneuver. I'm not going to label the ethnicity that does this all the time. But once you see these things, you can't unsee it, which is, are you causing a problem doing self-harm or self-sabotage because you're trying to cause a problem and then quickly solve that problem? Because that's how your brain is wired, because you didn't understand the concept of, hey, I'm a crab, I'm in a bucket. There is no bucket, and you're not a crab, you're a human, and you're a human listening to Larry Chang, my channel's on What They Don't Teach You in School, holding a starfish named Larry. So it's Larry Chang and Larry the Starfish, because we don't have to constantly cause problems. We don't. We don't have to do the other ethnicities protocol, which is we cause the problem and then we solve the problem. No. It's hunting for problems that have X as a value, then negotiating for us to get paid Y%. Looking for daddy. So at this point in the video, people are going to be like, Larry, can I be your sugar? No. Why? Because gifts from hot women who are older than 22 and younger than 23, those will cause me to go bankrupt. That's why you also shouldn't do it, which is looking for a sugar daddy, government as your sugar daddy, or anything where you're like trying to improve the bucket that you're in, which is, oh, we're crabs in a bucket. Let's try to make this bucket not cold, damp, and headed towards the boiling pot, because that's where the bucket's going. But imagine, and we can laugh at crabs for asking this, But what if a crab's like, hey, why can't I get some moss and some fish to eat while I'm in this bucket? Will somebody feed me? Will somebody make my bucket slightly more like an aquarium that's a luxury hotel? That's not going to happen. And the people that promise to make that happen, they're trying to do something else to you. Our country's run by pedos. They're trying to do something else to you, which is lie to you so that way you will vote for them. Looking for a daddy, that's not going to work. Having me be your intern or you being my intern, that's also not going to work. What is going to work is the two-way conversation of this video. What have you emotionally felt from this video? What have you learned so far from this amazing video, which is meet Larry the Starfish via Larry Chang's friend, who is a stuffed animal, telling you crabs in a bucket, OMG, let's not be crabs in a bucket. Let's read 1.0 book in the next 7 minutes. George Washington by Henry Cabot Lodge. GW, George Washington. Do you like how I write inverted? You're welcome. Oh, is that me rewiring my brain? It is. It kind of is. Good job, Larry the Starfish. Good job, Larry the Starfish's friend named Laura. Laura the Starfish? Lauren, sorry. Laurence, if you're French. George Washington. Let's benefit by you writing a book report using AI or by hand. 12 sentences on this video moving forward. Let's go. Prior topic, crabs in a bucket. We are now on the book I read, George Washington. George Washington, like the boring old dude that's on the $1 bill, that's the co-founder of America. Oh, that book, it's not boring. Henry Cabot Lodge wrote this biography. I cranked through it in basically a day and a half. And it's hands down impactful. I'm going to summarize this impact for you. I'm going to summarize this impact for you in a way that makes this video the most valuable video you have ever watched. True story, the most valuable video that you've ever watched. Because Web 12, point done from page 172 of George Washington. Wait a minute, did you just say Web 12? Oh, I did. Because what we're doing here is we're changing social media to be a two-way street using a book that's 100 years old, which is going to lead up into friends and friendship. Why? Because Web 12 is where we realize that the entire book was concocted from correspondence by and between George Washington. You see, he wasn't just a co-founder of the country, he was a stud in multiple different areas: military strategy, athleticism, riding a horse, leading men, delaying gratification, understanding political motivations, understanding how currency gets printed. So many, so many, so many components. Also having to read and draft letters and be persuasive using the Pony Express. That wasn't express, it was just messages carried over a horse. The whole book is pieced together using correspondence. The whole book. What are we doing? Remember, I mentioned Web 12. This is us piecing together this genius video into how it applies to how you improve. Piecing together social media no longer haphazardly, piecing together a puzzle that is, why is December 2 going to be the most impactful day, and how does it connect to day number 32 of hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking bankruptcy? Because George Washington, the biography, wasn't boring. It was exciting because here's a problem that you will now inherently see. Problem. You don't have a pen pal, meaning you don't write letters and then send it, and then 4 days later or a week later, you get another piece of mail back. What struck me about George Washington is the entire book is summaries of the letters that he wrote and how his brain works incredibly well because of having to draft letters. Have you heard the advice, if you're angry with somebody, to write them a letter? Because by writing a letter, we sort out our own emotions. Why? Because it's not hard to have disorganized thoughts if you don't write them down. But once you write them down, your thoughts become crystal clear, or at least much, much, much clearer. That's why there's a problem right now, which is none of us have ever had a pen pal. That's Web 12, is I'm not going to be your pen pal, but you get to do a one-way pen pal relationship, which is what? What's the one-way pen pal relationship? It's where you hear social media content and then you write a response. This is common practice for, I would say, the supermajority of YouTube content creators, which is a reaction channel. All you're doing is reacting to other people's social media. What we're doing here is not, oh, I'm going to start a reaction channel. What we're doing here is, what if you could have the benefit of a reaction channel only spending 3, 4, or 5 minutes per month? Yeah, that's the ratio, which is, what if you were to write a 12-sentence summary of this video? What if you were to do a reaction, not over video that takes 2 hours? What if you were to just do a 12-sentence reaction? Larry, are you just describing a book report? Yeah, that's Web 12, well, a simple version of it. What is Web 12? It fixes the fact that social media breaks your brain. What's Web 12? It's a joke, yes, but it's a genius joke. Why? Because it fixes the problems that Web 5, Web 4, Web 2, Web 3 cause. Why? Because there are YouTube content creators that are making obscene amounts of money doing reaction videos. And I don't want to motivate you or shame you into creating YouTube content. I am telling you that Web 12 is not necessarily going to be the new thing. I mean, it is, but I'm trying to undersell it by selling and underselling. I'm saying this isn't going to cost you anything, but I could charge you 30 grand for it. This is going to be the new thing. I'm the guy who coined Web 5, Web 4, Web 3, Web 12. What's the benefit in 3 sentences? Here's the benefit. You turn what used to be one way, brain rot, into 2-way, because you're writing a 12-sentence reaction and emailing it to me. Or let's say you don't want to do it with me. You can do it with Henry Cabot Lodge, the guy who wrote the book, George Washington. Yeah, he's dead, but it's still valuable because you wrote it out. And by you writing something out, now you've gone from, I haven't read 1.0 book in 2025, to I wrote 12 sentences of a summary of a YouTube video. This is what happens, which works every time, 100% of the time, is this. There's another concept that you've seen, but you don't quite put your finger on. It's called build in public. People love to see other people build in public. Why does that work nearly every time? Because you're doing Web 12, but not in a genius way. You're doing a crude version of build in public. This is Web 12, where you build up your repository of where are you trying to go? Do you have a treasure map? Once you have a treasure map, I can help you, because your treasure map is either reading, oh my God, that's great, or it's reading crappy. This is where now people will say this, oh, I want to do that, Larry. That sounds amazing, but I just don't want to do it in public. I don't want to have to put myself out there. This is time preference. This is self-sabotage. This is crabs in a bucket. This is not having power over yourself. This is other people are going to be pissed that you are going to stratospherically rise. And they will lie to you by saying, hey, Larry, he's a giant homosexual. He's going to try to have sex with your vagina. He's a lesbian. Where you're like, what? I'm just watching videos and taking notes. This is why we are the sum total of the 5 people that we hang out with most. And it's going to be painful when some of our friends drop by the wayside. But I don't miss Craig Masterson because I wish him well, right? I wish him well. We sold physics notes together at the University of Illinois. And we can be friends with them later. We just need to be better friends with ourselves. Do you see the genius in having a pen pal with almost an imaginary friend? The Wright brothers, right on cue with some George Washington shit. There's this book about the Wright brothers. That book also reads like an action movie, but better because there's all sorts of money. The Wright brothers, while Orville and Wilbur wrote by and between each other while they're assembling and mastering thoughts. You see, you might feel like people are judging you, but at least you won't be crashing and burning from space. You're just going to be reading a book And these books cause you to do what? These books cause you to get 10 years inside of one weekend. And if you can't make money from that, something's broken with your brain. You see, Web 12, it turns social media into a two-way street. This is what I thought about when I was reading George Washington, is there's a problem of one-way poo. There's a problem of Web 2 brain rot. There's a problem that we're all getting default programmed. Those are problems. And if you don't think that those are problems, that's cool. That's cool that you don't think that those are problems. They are. We're doing, within GW, George Washington, we're basically doing cowboy culture 100 years before cowboy culture, because if you thought the Wild West was a frontier, the 13 colonies were a bigger frontier than the Wild West. Let me go over why that's significant. You see, North America was the wildest of Wests, west of England. California's relation to South Carolina and North Carolina, not that wild of a West. Why? Because it was already sort of a country. And it wasn't necessarily a state, but it was the Wild West. The 13 colonies were way, way, way more wild. That's why Web 12, because we're not doing artificial intelligence. I mean, we are, but what we're really making it into is American intelligence. What we're experiencing with Web 12, which I came up with on July 11, and I want you to be a co-founder in Web 12. Why? Because later someone's going to claim that they came up with Web 5, Web 4, Web 3, or Web 12, and then I'll be like, scoreboard, I already published the social media on your claim. Your claim came 8 years after I executed it. Is this American intelligence? Yes. This is so easy for me to do. It's so easy for me to do. You can just benefit from it because you don't have to pay me for Web 12. You don't have to pay anything other than write a 12-sentence summary of this video. Not that hard, incredibly significant. Larry, what do you do? Larry, what do you do? Well, what I do for money is I took two books, The Ultimate Accredited Handbook, written by Jerry Detweiler, and Mark McCormack, What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. I combined those two books, and I pooped out a genius corporation called Deeply Understanding Credit Knowledge. Super easy. Brady, do I do a good job taking care of you? Hell yeah, I do. Here's an example of taking a book, improving yourself. Here's an example of it. So clean. So clean. Should I do eye drops for you? Showing off. Showing off. Being able to do my dog's eye drops while staying on script. You see, Web 12 within George Washington is, can you write a letter that then gets a reaction, or easy enough, it gets search engined. You see, most people, they underestimate what they can do in a week. Most people massively underestimate what they can do in a year. Most people over extrapolate what they can do in 10 years. This is the compounding effect of self-improvement. This is if your brain is wired on no delayed gratification. When you don't do delayed gratification, you end up screwing yourself because you're not investing in yourself. This is so apparent within George Washington, page 172, as it ties to cowboy culture, as it ties to Web 12, AI, American intelligence. It comes down to, can you repair your own brain? It comes down to, reading is a superpower. It comes down to, can you memorize things? Which is hashtag mushy mushy mushy. It's spelled out incredibly detailed. Here we go. This is the most valuable thing you'll watch all of 2025. It's hashtag, so it's the number sign. Mushy, mushy, mushy. Oh, hey Larry, cool. Can you go ahead and text me that? That's what losers say, which is, oh, you just came up with something great? I'm not going to write it down. Can you go ahead and send me that later? This is Web 12, which is a pocket notebook where you get to take notes on things that positively impact you. This is what you should be putting in the comments, which is hashtag mushy mushy mushy, which is M, capital M, so it's number sign, hashtag, M as in mushy, OOSHIE, and then there's going to be another mushy, which is MUEXIE. There's no space between mushy mushy mushy. And then the third mushy is MOOSHEY. Why is it mushy mushy mushy? Because it's an American word that I invented via a hashtag that only you will use. Why are you using it? Because you've never made $800 quoting one page of a book. Trying to not knock over Larry the Starfish. Breathe by James Nestor. Page 42, Nadi Shodhana breathing. Should I read from that page? We're DJing George Washington to James Nestor. Our bodies operate most efficiently in a state of balance. pivoting between action and relaxation, daydreaming and reasoned thought. This balance is influenced by the nasal cycle and may even be controlled by it. It is, James Nestor, personal friend, where I memorized his book to him and sold him his own book, where he wanted to go back and read his own book. Think about that. I'm selling you your car back to you. That's me with Tom Chang. I'm selling you your company back to you. That's Larry Chang. I'm selling you your book back to you. That's Larry Chang, James Nestor. This balance is influenced by the nasal cycle and may even be controlled by it. It's a balance that can also be gamed. There's yoga practice dedicated to manipulating the body's function with forced breathing through the nostrils. It's called Nadi Shodhana breathing. Oh my God, it is on page 42. Larry, hashtag Mushi 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 is amazing. It's called Nadi Shodhana. In Sanskrit, Nadi means channel and Shodhana means purification, or more commonly, alternate nostril breathing. I've been conducting an informal study of alternative nostril breathing for the past several minutes. Why is that significant? It's significant because when Tom Brady starts having nasal difficulty, I just plug one of his nostrils, and then I make him breathe out of the other nostril. Look, did you hear him snort? Did you hear him snort? Let's do the other side. That's Nadi Shodhana breathing. That's memorizing a page number for when you hunt for a problem that someone else has. Did George Washington have problems? Oh yeah. He was fighting a war with not a whole lot of resources, with a currency that was in turmoil, against a much, much more powerful foe. Is that you? Are you currently fighting an uphill battle, not being able to do super well, feeling that you don't have a friend? Corresponding with the author. I swear I'm reading this. I'm not just pulling this out of my butt. Because you can correspond with the author of this video, Larry Chang. We can correspond. My cell phone's everywhere. My email's firstname@mycompany.com. Book report on a video. This is gonna work every time, 100% of the time. Why? Because it works 100% of the time. What are we doing? Let's do a book report of someone else's video. Let's, if you want, you should want to. Let's do a book from someone else's 40 videos. Larry, are you currently drunk right now? No, I'm not. I'm not drunk. This is your idea. This is your idea because I just gave it to you. Cost $50,000 or a thank you. When you make $3 million, get me a $50,000 watch. This is what you can do. This is what you can do. You take 30 videos of someone else. Let's say it's Dan Martell. And then you write a book that's a sequel to Buy Back Your Time. I can do this all day long. I can do this all day long. with you right now, not with me after my video ends, because we're doing it right now. Find your confidence, locate your vagina's chemicals, get a pen. Let's stop flogging our dolphin, sending us boob selfies. Thank you. You have very nice boobs. Thank you for that. Go ahead and grab a pen. Let's write somebody else's book for them. Shelby Sapp. She sells. She's got not 30,000 videos, but she's definitely got 300 videos. Let's organize it into the unofficial Hot Girl Sales Club Bible. Am I pulling franchises out of my ass? What's a franchise? A franchise is like a Subway where you're starting a franchise. You don't want to buy a franchise. What's buying a Subway franchise? It's paying $300,000 for a job that makes you $40,000, but you got to work 80 hours a week. Pulling a franchise out of your ass is what I just said before I said the Subway, which is Shelby Sapp Unofficial Hot Girl Sales Club Bible. Or this, since we're trying to be less heterosexual. New example, the Michael Burry algebra day number 31, connected to day number 15, connected to day number 5 within the 3 days of 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. Let me go over those 3 days real quick, because this is $800 that you can make by writing a Substack or a WordPress, which is charging people exorbitant amounts of money to explain complex things that I will make simple for you, which is day 31, day 15, day 5. Done. Done. You're welcome. Problem. Algebra. Problem. Michael Burry. Problem and opportunity, which is the guy who starred in the movie The Big Short. He was a medical doctor from Stanford University who had a penchant and an interest in picking stocks. He did Web 1, which is now seen as Web 12. This is us becoming friends for the first time. He wrote a website called Stock Picks, Stock Thoughts. Don't quote me. You can quote me. And that website caused him to short Amazon before it crashed. This big short that he did of the housing market, that was his third short that he called bullshit. You see, we can call bullshit on people and financially benefit. I came up with the methodology to not have to risk money to make money. So this is why I am able to give financial advice, because I took it a step further by engineering the concept of it doesn't take money to make money. Is that Web 12? Yeah, it's really Web 5, but let's keep the example clean. Just know that this is some genius shit and you get it for free. This, what I'm walking you through, This is worth $800 per time you sell it. Why? Because there is no more genius shit available on the planet than me saying 31, 5, and 15. There's just not, which are the Michael Burry days within hashtag 26 days of OpenAI ducking BK. What happened on day 5? NVIDIA. What happened on day 31? NVIDIA connected to GameStop, connected to Michael Burry, connected to the algebra of stock options. So, some of this might be over your head. That's a good thing. Because if it's over your head while I'm walking you through it, it's over everybody's head. Let's financially benefit. Which is, did you memorize the 3 numbers that I gave you? 31, 5, 15. Hut, hut, hike. So this is the delayed gratification for a mental exercise in, can you memorize those 3 numbers and meet people that have that as a problem? It turns out you can if you just were to slap a stuffed animal on it and make it slay. I don't have a stuffed animal. Wait a minute. I do. So, correlating while conjuring some genius shit. Because Larry the Starfish, he's going to be running double duty. Dare I say, triple duty. Why? Because Larry the Starfish is the unofficial mascot to MicroStrategy. $MSTR, $STRC, $STRD, $STRK, $STRF. So why is this triple duty? Because there are currently day number 5, day number 15, day number 31. Because this medical doctor from Stanford, Michael Burry, he just dropped an algebra post. This is my pinned post for how many times did you go to math class before math class? Because people can't do the algebra. People can't connect the algebra to the financial outcome. He's walking you through the math, showing you the answers to the test. Will you listen to the answers? Will you correspond with the author? Will you write a book report on this video? Are you completely confused? The reason you're completely confused is you're asking the crab in a pot question, which is, hey, I'm a crab in a pot. What's Miami like? What's the Miami nightclub scene like? Like, stop asking those questions. You're a crab in a pot in Louisiana. You are millions of steps away from a Miami nightclub. Don't even ask about that. But this is what everybody wants to do, is they say, oh, well, after the Miami nightclub, are we going to go to American Airlines Arena and watch a Miami Heat game? Because I watched that on TV from my crab pot as a crab in a pot. Instead of asking macro questions, why don't we ask questions that we can have answers to, which is, will you do one thing? Which is, will you write 12 sentences on this? Will you take those 12 sentences and then walk them to day number 35? You're welcome. What's day number 35? That would be Friday, aka December 5, aka you've taken no notes so far, and it shows with your lack of attention. In addition to the fact that you've never been to a class before where at the end of the class, we're all going to be millionaires. You've never been in that class before. And when you've not been in that class before, you're like, why is YouTube so amazing? That's why. Because this is the inner sanctum. This is all the secret societies in the world are hiding in plain sight. Will you just write 12 sentences in a reaction to this content, which is day number 35. 31, 5, 15, 35. Turbo hike. Turbo hike means give me the ball. I'm winning this football game. Turbo hike means now the play shall start. Who is going to win before the ball is even delivered? We are. Why? Because we memorized some super basic shiitake. Larry, are we going to have to memorize more? No, I already gave you the answers, which is 35, 5, 15, 31. You see, these are the days that NVIDIA connecting to GameStop. I'm going to give you one more number, which is 1,452. You're welcome. Because that's the live action business case study for GameStop. How many times have you heard people on this channel say, can't stop, won't stop, Chang stop? I mean, it just rolls right off the tongue. What if you were to get paid 35 cents every time you scream that aloud? What if you're going to get paid $25 for saying that? Can't stop, won't stop, Chang stop? What are you talking about? I thought the GameStop short squeeze already occurred. Larry, I'm so confused right now, but I'm into whatever you're talking about, and I want whatever substance that you're high on. Cool. I want to show you the substance that I'm high on. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop, Chang stop. Remember we said we're going to bring friends? Remember we said we're going to bring friends? We're bringing friends right now. Who's watching this and not liking what they're watching? Okay. Why is can't stop, won't stop, Chang stop a thing? Why is it a thing? Oh, Chewbacca is so back. Do you think people judge me poorly when I bring a Chewbacca and Do you think people judge me poorly that I bring a Chewbacca and whatever this guy is to a leveraged finance conference? Arr, arr. Why? Because my little guy was going for a drink of water in Brady's water bowl. What we're doing here is we're doing Web 12. And if you're totally confused right now, but having a good time, just write down hashtag Web 12. Because in talking about a George Washington book written by Henry Cabot Lodge, we're connecting George Washington to the GameStop fiasco in this video, which is the most valuable video you'll ever come across. Why? Because I'm telling you what is the future, which is social media. It's broken and it's shitty and it's getting shittier. Why? Because it's kind of a reflection of how the world's going, which is becoming a dumpster fire. You're not a crab in a bucket. You're a piece of trash, a human, in a dumpster that's currently getting lit on fire. Can we leave the dumpster fire? Or are we going to pull out our phone and take a picture of the dumpster floating down the river on fire? Or are you going to write 12 sentences about this video? Where are you going to send it? Where are you going to send it? This is Web 12, where there are baby steps to this, which is why this works 100% of the time, every time. Is that outlandish to say? It is not. This is why. You might be confused what venture capital is. You might not believe in Silicon Valley or venture capital. You may not believe that I'm a venture capitalist. But what is whole scale 150% true at 100.0% true is sitting in a ride share, sitting in an Uber or Lyft. I have made more millionaires sitting and talking to the driver than venture capital firms have made millionaires with hundreds of millions of dollars. Let me repeat that. Sitting in a Lyft, sitting in a knockoff of Uber, which is what Lyft is, because I'm the solo founder of the Uber API. But I'll take a Lyft just because I can save $1 and meet some people. And I kind of like boosting an artificially high 5-star rating. But what am I doing in a Lyft or an Uber? I am trying to Web 12 the driver into making $1 million. Why? Because I'm fucked up, okay? Have you not noticed? Hey, Larry, what substance are you on? The substance I'm on is your money. That's what I'm high on right now. What happens in a Lyft ride? It's like reading a book, but you don't know that I'm a book. You just see me as kind of friendly and friendly. But you're trapped in this book with me for the next 10 minutes. It's going to leak out what you do. Here's an example. Hey, your car's super clean. I kill people with compliments. Hey, your book's amazing. Hey, that video I watched, Larry Chang, that video I watched, it was great. The way you brought that, what is this thing called? I bought them from GameStop. What is this thing called? And don't say Larry the, whatever it is. Starting with a compliment, this is how you're gonna do it next time you're in a ride share. But this, okay. You start with a compliment. Hey, your car is super clean. What else do you do besides rideshare? What else do you do besides rideshare? Wait, what is this? What else do you do besides rideshare? Oh, I'm a manager at a hotel. Easy. Hey, stop growling. I'm brushing your butt. Oh, I manage a hotel. Oh, cool. How's the hospitality industry going? Oh, it's okay. I manage a blah, blah, blah brand. I'm like, wow. Like, that's a pretty good brand. Do you do this to make extra money? Yes. Yes, I do. Now remember, you're trying to do a turnaround using deeply understood capital knowledge. You're deeply understanding Chinese knowledge, which is, hey, uncle, I want to start a business. What should I do? Not, uncle, Larry, can I borrow $1 million so I can start a business? Remember, it's deeply understanding capital knowledge. It's how are you going to help this person who manages a hotel who's currently doing rideshare because they're poor? What would you do? What is step one? And don't say, bring Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady, 415-612-1737, he is available. You just don't have the balls to call him. Did you just dox Tom Brady? No, bro. I quoted him saying his phone number on social media. We're doing Web 12. What would you do? Step one. Remember, you're trying to help this person be a millionaire. They're currently driving a rideshare. What do you do? What is step one? How useful of an exercise is this? What is step one? No answers. Crickets. Crabs in a pot have super negative things to say when asked, hey, do you want to get rich? No one has shit to say. Seriously, what is step one? I know you lurkers have watched like 10 of these videos. I say the same shit in every video. Well, similar shit. Let's be honest, I say the same shit over and over and over again. I just freshened it up with some George Washington. Yeah, Henry Cabot Lodge. That riveting biography, which reads like an action novel because, oh my God, George Washington, I was unaware of your game. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. Like, I was unaware of your game. Is that me quoting my friend Shaq? Yeah. That meme where he's like, oh, Larry Chang, I was unaware of your game. Step one is external API. You, and if you're brand new, pretend like you've already watched 10 videos. Because step one is an external API. Hashtag external API. Oh, green tea is delicious. Delicious. Green tea is delicious. Z Wolford, what up? First time you watched a video was July 31, 2025. That was your first vid. I bet I talked a lot about Web 12 stuff. Matcha's pretty good. Good morning from Texas, says Phoenix Lighting 369. What's up, Texas? Or are you saying I'm Texas? What is this, Brady? What is this random stuff you have in your ass? Everybody meet my dog. His name is Tom Brady. Get it? Oh, look. You want to meet people? You want to meet people? This is Tom Brady. He's talking. Brady, you look pretty good looking right there. I'm not going to lie. Why did I name my dog Tom Brady? Am I a super fan? No. Tom Brady, he's kind of a jerk. He's kind of a jerk. I'm talking about the human. Well, Tom Brady's also kind of a jerk too. But that's okay. I named him Tom Brady because he helps me focus. I've got more on that in a second. Let me finish up the external API. Why am I so confident that we're in a relationship where you're driving me in a ride share? I'm going to make you a millionaire, $1 million, just because I'm just fucking around. You see, when you're stuck in a car with me, my riz, my energy, and my loving nature just engulfs the vehicle, and then people just love me. People just love me. And I'm really, really sparkly and hot in person, and I come across smarter than you, but dumber than you at the same time. That's a strategy. I'm trying to seduce you. I'm not trying to seduce you because I want to have power over you. I want to seduce you so that way you tell me what you're thinking. That's what you're thinking. And then I can get you to start thinking what I'm thinking. This is friendship in public. This is George Washington, page 172. This is me seducing James Nestor, which is the page 42 guy, with me yet to seduce Michael Burry, but maybe this is seducing him because I'm coding this into Gemini 3 on YouTube Live, where I'm showing you the algebra for Michael Burry, day number 31. 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. GameStop. Michael Burry, the person who shorted the housing market. Michael Burry, the person who had Batman, Christian Bale, play his character in the movie The Big Short, which is day number 31, GameStop. the algebra of why Larry Chang, Michael Burry, and Tom Brady are correct. You see, we're not going to risk and bet the ranch. We're going to risk zero while making kind of a lot of money. Is this a sales pitch? Oh no, I am not going to be selling you shit all. Yeah, I am selling you on taking 12 sentences of notes. Okay, you might be confused, yet excited at the same time. Let me get you less confused and more excited. This is what we're doing. We're pulling money out of our butthole. That's what we're doing. We're pulling money out. Why? One, because it's hilarious. It's absolutely the most entertaining thing that anybody can ever do. Why? Because you can't stop, won't stop, Chang stop. And instead of saying, I love crabs, they blow bubbles, know that we're solving it with Larry the Starfish. Larry the Starfish pulling double duty. Day number 5, hashtag 26 days of OpenAI ducking BK. BK is short for bankruptcy. Day 15 of 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. Know the subtle call sign changes. We went from OpenAI here to Grok 4 here. Maybe that's a bad finger. It's the finger we're going with. It's the finger right here. 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. Day 15. Day 31. Day 31 is December 1 because day 15 correlates to November 15. Why are these dates incredibly specific? Why is money hiding in plain sight? Everything's hiding in plain sight. I'm mapping it out for you. Let's focus. Day 31 is algebra day. Algebra, like what comes before geometry and after pre-algebra. Are we dropping math jokes? Yes. Is Tom Brady the human mimicking my pinned Twitter tweet, which is, before we go to math class, we want to practice math before going to class. Who the F shows up at math class not understanding math? Who does that? Well, it turns out it's Hispanic people, it's white people, and it's black people. I almost said it's super those three. Because who goes to math class to be surprised at math class? 3 kinds of people: black people, white people, and people who aren't Chinese. Why would you ever go to math class with the Chinese guy who's 6'5" sitting in the front row taking math class a 3rd time before math class starts for you? Did I just explain to you the fact that the reason that the quant in The Big Short was Asian? Did I just explain everything in the world to you? Because when I watch people try to shoot a 3-pointer, I'm thinking to myself, you didn't practice perfect form. You didn't practice it. Did I almost take out my microphone showing you my beef, balance, elbow, eye contact, follow through? I'm putting my index finger into the basket. look at how big the basket is. Look at how big this basket is. Yet people can't put a little orange ball through this ginormous hoop. Look at this. Look at this. Me and a fat girl could fit inside this basketball hoop. This is a regulation sized basketball hoop. It's regulation sized. It's ginormous. Except most people think, oh, I can't dunk a basketball. I can't dunk a starfish. Like, it's 10 feet high and it's huge. And you can't put the orange ball in the cup without a defender. This is math class, which is, that hoop is actually even bigger. It's like the size of one of those soccer goals. Like, that's why I don't play that sport. Like, if I find putting it in the hole of a basketball challenging, why do I want to make the hole bigger, right? Why do I even, like, that's like trying to ride the village bicycle, that one girl who's super ugly and super slutty, right? Like, why? Don't I want to make the game harder? Oh, wait, that's my entire YouTube channel is playing the game on hard mode. Why am I always running out of green tea? That's okay. That's okay. We can make more. Seriously. Seriously. This is a regulation size hoop. Look at how big this thing is. Look at how big this is. And people can't shoot 80%? What is wrong with people? Well, this is what's wrong with people, is they show up to math class without practicing 300 three-pointers. Like, that's my warm-up, is putting the ball in the hole. Are we talking about money, dating, or math? Or meeting up with some strange? You tell me. What we're talking about here that's going to be financially of benefit to you is, can you just do Web 12 just one time? Can you just do it one time? Larry, you seem amazing. I want to propose a business idea to you. What? No, I don't want to hear some non sequitur. I want us to sequentially sequate a sequence. I want us to sequentialize. I want us to be in sync. Is this where I'm going to sing you a country song? That's a shout out to In Sync. Comment song and I'll sing you a song that I make up. Sober or high on green tea, you make the call. True story, I met a hottie, a baddie, a banger, and she goes, I want to sing country music. Let me write 9 songs for you. Let me write it up. let me Web 12 you some country songs. She started to have self-sabotage, imposter complex. I changed the country songs to be for not a blonde female singing them. I changed them to a Chinese man, 6'5", singing country songs. This is our brain on Web 12. It works every time, 80% of the time. Larry, before you said it works every time 100% of the time. Yeah, that's with money. But like artistry, that's different. What we're doing here is, one, we're having a good time. But what we're really doing is I'm showing you how easy stuff is scoring a basket. Scoring a basket. Scoring a basket. This basketball hoop is huge. And heavy as fuck. Regulation sized. This is day 32. 32, 31, 15, 5. Hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. Turbo hike. Hike means you give me the ball and then I go score a touchdown, because there's no defense for this. There's no defending this because we're not playing in the NFL. Or at least you're not. I'm waiting to play in the NFL. If I were to play in the NFL as a DEI hire, defensively excellent infielder with a cannon for an arm playing quarterback, this is what it's like being Chinese, which is why I'm a happy kind of angry. If white people and black people go to college, it's the easiest mode ever because you're a black person or a white person at college. Whereas Chinese people, we gotta be triply better than you in order to be at the same school that you lucked into. So, helping you understand the plight of the gorgeous, tall Chinese man with unlimited athletic ability, that would be this. If the NFL were to adjust the rules for Chinese people the way that college adjusted the rules for black and white people, 1, you couldn't hit the Chinese quarterback. 2, they would get 3 minutes to throw the football where everyone else has 5 seconds to throw the football. Let me repeat that. That's the difference, where I could have a 3-minute shot clock to deliver a football down the field and you can't tackle me. That's the delta of football. That's the connect and disconnect. Let's effing go. I don't believe you because I've read your comments and your emails. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. But I do believe that we are going to proceed forward. Email, publish, post, right for you. Non-moderator, right for you. Email, publish, post. I doubt what you're saying because you don't ship one email. I doubt it. You can email, publish, post. You see, corresponding with an author is really right on script, which is, can you correspond with an author? Can you write letters, or in your case, emails, into the abyss? The abyss talks back, whereas your emails are not getting emailed. You will not do email, publish, post. I don't have more tips for you to fine tune, because whatever happened to 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge, conjuring up money from a joke franchise. See, you're trying to make $2 million in one step, where what happened to the 24 sentences, and why are you watching and not actively liking yourself? your brain is not just a pretzel, it's a small intestine knotted up, trying to no longer be constipated. Your gut isn't healthy, and it's causing your brain to be foggy, and we've disconnected. Let's reconnect by this simple thing, which is, where are those 24 sentences? Wait, Larry, did you just go from 12 sentences to 24 sentences? Yeah, but it's basically 12 or 24, you pick. So if you're going to go 12 sentences, no, how we do the small things is how we do everything. So let's say we're not doing 24 sentences. Let's say we're just doing 12. It would be 4 sentences for what you initially watched, 4 sentences for what you did, 4 sentences for what you now can document. See it, do it, document it. See it, do it, teach it. You were supposed to do 8 sentences. 8 sentences, oh my God, 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge. Oh my God, that was a connected thought. Then going to, this is the adjustment that I made, which is 2, which is the adjustment you made, which is 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge, became 1 girl, 1 book. Because 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge had a prequel to it, which is 2 girls, 1 book, where 2 girls with me read 1 book. Here's a question for you. Can you come on a live Q&A in 20 minutes? Can you come onto a live Q&A with the camera on, with asking questions that I will answer in 15 minutes? Can you? Can you email, publish, post 1 successful email? Because Larry, you are judging me on all that silly email, where that's how we do the small things, is how we do everything. Ditto that. Eight sentences, 8 sentences, 8 sentences. 3 times 8 is 24. Can you come on to a YouTube live in, oh, you don't get that. You get this. Can you come on to Twitter and ask questions over Twitter? You know what? I'll let you do YouTube live. I'll let you do YouTube live in 20 minutes. Conjuring up money. Larry, I took your advice. You didn't. Web 12 is one of the most important things. I bought 5 books on AI and cybersecurity, and I've been learning agents, workflow, and a custom GPT. The reason I doubt that is you're having a hard time reading 2 sentences that I write and then responding to the 2 sentences. For when you purchase 5 books, text me a picture of those 5 books. Text me a picture of those 5 books. I'm calling BS on all of it. Oh my God, Larry, is Web 12 accountability? It's, don't lie to me. I can tell. Just be honest with, Larry, I'm having a hard time reading. I'm having a hard time email, publish, posting. What are we talking about? We're talking about George Washington. Henry Cabot Lodge book was written based on George Washington's correspondence. Are we doing correspondence, buying between people? That's what making money is you ask for money and people say, fuck no, I'm not giving you money. And then you're like, why? But you don't say why. You say, oh, if I were you, I also wouldn't give me money. And then you go into, but if I were to make some improvements so that way in the future you give me money, what would those improvements be? Do you see how that's a not just why? Because we can't talk like we're hot girls, disconnected because we're not girls, we are hot, right? Question: will you do a YouTube Q&A in 12 minutes? Yes or no? Where you ask questions in a YouTube Live and then I answer questions via a YouTube Live in 12 minutes? Or can you not listen to things that are being said and then go, wow, he said something, now I need to respond. This is why EQ is required. Conjuring up money. So the reason Web 12 works 100% of the time, every time, is most people have a really hard time hearing something and reacting to that, where it's maybe too much computer time, it's maybe too much COVID, maybe it's just too much for people to hear something and then have to respond to it. Is this just being default NPC? No, it's not. This is still on the topic of George Washington, co-founder, United States of America. Smart Americans from MIT using AI as a pen pal. Oh my God. So, the reason smart Americans using AI as a pen pal is that's what AI is when you're smart, is you're able to say, hey, what are the 5 books that you listed on cybersecurity? What are the 5 books that you listed on cybersecurity? And then having AI be your pen pal study buddy, except you don't have to wait. It's immediate gratification, but you're going to have to read the results that AI provides you. This is what happens when rich people get richer, and I know that's totally unfair, but what starts that pump priming is when smart people get smarter because of AI. And then before you say, Larry, I'm not very smart, but I'm a fan of yours, I say to you this. What you see as a brilliant person who's a genius before you, I am literally retarded. But I became the smartest person in Silicon Valley. Why? Because I never beat myself up for being retarded. I never beat myself up for not being the smartest person in the room. And I had no ego for when I was asking questions. Questions of, hey, what does PFP mean? Hey, what is Web 2? Hey, what is this pill I gotta take to be limitless? Why am I always running out of green tea? I'm just bragging. That was a humble brag. That was a humble brag. I'm bragging about being humble because page 344, limitless. Tell me what's on page 344, Adam. Tell me what's on page 344 of Limitless. Julian, third ask. Do you want to come on to a YouTube Live in 7 minutes? Why can't you respond? This is why I'm calling you out, because I don't think you can hear the words that I'm saying because you just generate random things. This is a third ask. Plus the 24 sentences. I don't think you can hear. And it's some weird account where 3 people are running it. 2 people are dark triad darkness, and 1 person's trying to get pulled out by being a crab in a pot. How well do I pattern recognize? Page 344, Adam. What is on page 344 of Limitless? What's on page 344? No. You pull out the book. Are you lying about the fact that you have the book? You are. Oh my God. This is spot on. Smart Americans from MIT use AI as a pen pal. So, we'll call this person in my family Eugene because that's his name. The way that he uses AI is genius. And it dawned on me in July that, my God, did I come up with Web 12 because of my conversation with Eugene? Have I been ripping credit from my family, learning shit from Eugene Chang, who went to MIT? Okay, this is embarrassing. I asked Eugene where he went to college, and he goes, I went to MIT. The fact that I don't know where Eugene went to college is unforgivable. But I forgive myself. Why? Because I'm showing you that I'm retarded. Because I probably knew, but then just forgot. But I didn't necessarily forget, but I think it's because my brain made me forget. Because it reminds me that I'm not very smart. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. Finishing up George Washington's second to last point. Oh my God, 5th ask. Julian, do you want to come on and ask questions on a YouTube live? 5th ask. This is what it's like. This is what it's like. This is what it's like being AI, American Intelligent, cowboy culture, which is I'm asking you the same question for like a 5th time. And a 3rd time. Bullet traders, what's on page 344? My God. My God. You don't have to wait to get to page 344. You can just open the book to page 344 and tell me what's on page 344. Do you like how I look at people who are my super fans and keep them accountable? Because remember, I'm not trying to collect super fans. I'm trying to ask you, hey, did you get rich already? Because you're watching too many Larry Chang videos. Because page 344 is L-theanine, which is the chemical compound that I'm high on right now, which is, Larry, what's in all that green tea? L-theanine, page 344, chapter 19, which is brain food, limitless. Brain food, limitless. I'm going to do something that's going to help you dramatically. So this is what's going to be incredibly helpful. Why are my books sticky? They're like playing cards. Why is this incredibly useful? It's useful because most people can't own one book, open it to a page, and say, oh, this is page 344. You did not buy the PDF. Oh my God. You totally did the thing where you got an illegal PDF copy and now you haven't read the book because you're trying to read a PDF. So this is why we're doing this, which is I tested you. You got tested because I'm passing my test by showing you 6 copies of the same book. It's called 2 girls, 1 book. It's not called 2 girls, 1 PDF. Because that's the reason this works 100% of the time, every time, is I said 2 girls, 1 book. And then you took it to be 2 girls, 1 PDF. Whereas you could have done what Julian did, which is 1 girl, 1 book. Because the 2 girls is 2 girls, 1 book. But you could do 1 girl, 1 book. You definitely can't do no girl, 1 PDF. This is why this works 100% of the time, every time. Why? Because I caught you trying to cut a corner where it turns out details matter. I caught you not being able to look up page 344 because you even asked, hey Larry, is this the expanded edition? And instead of spending $14, which I would have bought for you if you would have just said, Larry, I'm poor, will you just buy me this book? I'd be like, yeah, I would. Why? Because you being able to do 62, 64, 67, 4, 14, 13, turbo hike, that would be page 62, page 64, page 67, chapter 4, chapter 14, chapter 13, turbo hike, which is page 62, questions. The reason we're memorizing these things is we go somewhere with 2 copies of a book and then we listen to people ask us horrible questions and then we say 62, 64, 67. Why? Because questions are the answer. Have you ever read a page in a book, arrived at the end, and could not recall what you read? I'm talking and you guys have a hard time remembering. Let me repeat that. Have you ever read a page in a book, arrived at the end, and could not recall what you just read? You may even reread it, only to forget it again. I don't want you to experience this while you're reading this book. So why do you think this happens? The answer is you're not asking the right questions. Questions, in fact, are the answer. You see, this isn't your first Larry Chang video. You see, we've met before, or else you would not be in a room with a single-digit number of people. Why? Because now you're only beginning to ask genius questions, which is, OMG, this stuff is actually legit. Maybe you're using low socioeconomic language where you have a slang for whatever I just said. Instead, you should be just saying, thank you, Larry Chang. Letters, they're a giant dollop of delayed gratification. Finally finishing the GW component, Web 12, page 172, George Washington, simulating letters by and between George Washington and Congress, simulating George Washington letters by and between every person that George Washington comes into contact with. Because our ability to write letters, to answer questions, is a shortcoming. This is why we Web 12. This is why this video is the most amazing video you've ever experienced, because I'm explaining to you your broken brain, which is actually pretty good because you're able to accept coaching that's hard. You're also improving ginormously as we move into letters. They're a giant dollop of delayed gratification. Questions are the answer. Page 62. Let's look at page 64, which is, the one real object of education is to leave a person in the condition of continually asking questions. 62, 64, 67, turbo hike, which is 67. He who asks questions cannot avoid the answers. What we're doing is we're using a book Limitless We're using the book Limitless. So you're saying that you have a physical copy of the book? So this is what we're doing, is we're taking the book. Do you like my magic trick where I set it down and then pick up the book? It's a magic trick. Is we're in a public location, the books look like this. And then from that public location, what we're doing is we're baiting people to ask us questions. Sometimes they're crabby pot questions. That's not your book. Is that your book? You can't read that book. What is this? A nerdy book club? Who even has time to read? I'm so popular. So when people say negative things to you, what happens? When people say negative things to you, now you can go right to closing them for money. Why? Because you're predicting what people are going to ask you, answering those questions. This is the jujitsu, this is the vagina whisperer, this is the persuasion, this is Jedi in business administration, which is listener train of thought. What you're doing with listener train of thought is you're predicting the objections that people are going to have in the future. This is how to pull money, initially pulling $800 using a book that costs less than $50. Why? Because they could have gotten this knowledge from a book in the library. But guess what? They don't value the library the way that they value a private table at a Miami nightclub. They don't value it that way because their brain is semi-brainwashed. Let's now perfectly transition into friends in public. You see, being able to learn something at the library is so easy that it's actually easier to not do it. What am I recommending that we do? I'm recommending a friendship in public as you document, hey, I learned 12 sentences worth of content. This is what I learned on December 2nd. The alternative to doing 12 sentences is I'm going to just warehouse knowledge that I never use to then never financially benefit, as I never build anything in public, nor do I do anything unique and different. I will not be making a new friend. I've never had a mentor. A certain component of my brain is broken. I came onto YouTube hunting for victims, which is dark truth. That's what some people are doing on YouTube, is hunting for victims, hunting to victimize people. Now you've come across something that's positive and full of light. This is a quick prayer that I'm going to drop. Father Lord, thank you for this time that we can have a friendship on YouTube that's grace and graceful and positive and playful. Thank you for new friends, and thank you for new and positive influences. And if people have never prayed before, maybe this will be a first. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Building in public, I used to not be successful. Now I built in public, I am slightly more successful. Let's say you already are successful. I don't believe it. I do believe it. I'm torn. Doing an improvement where now you're even more potent building in public. Why build in public? Because becoming a first-time millionaire, it's a practice, it's not a perfection. Everybody else is trying to do it as a perfection. Now, how do I financially benefit from helping you? I financially benefit because after you get to $1 million, I'll have gotten $0. What I will have gotten is some giggles and some laughs. What I'm hoping for is for you to buy me a platinum Rolex. Is that a good deal? You make 7 figures and you spend 5 figures. I almost said spend 6 figures, but right now I don't think you know the difference between 7 figures and 5 figures. I don't think you do, because it turns out a lot of people don't. Earlier in the video, we talked about math, specifically algebra, specifically can't stop, won't stop, Chang stop, specifically Michael Burry, day 31 of hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK, Michael Burry connecting GameStop to NVIDIA. You're welcome, day 31. You're welcome, day 15. You're welcome, day 5. What are those 3 days in addition to day 35? Those are magical algebra days that are all Michael Burry. November 5, November 15, December 1, December 5. Those are the 5 days. Being able to rattle them off is chapter 13 of Limitless. Jim Quick's book, I Am Not Jim Quick. Stop asking dumb questions. Let's start asking some genius questions, which is, Larry, how do I benefit from building in public? How do I email, publish, post? You don't need your own website. You can just publish it on Duck9, which is 12 sentences of what I learned on December 2nd, 2025 with Larry Chang. Build in public. Why? Because when you write 12 sentences out, you're going to quickly start to get better. Because when was the last time you did a book report? When was the last time you did a video report? Maybe you've never done anything like that before. This is us getting better YouTube video to YouTube video, where you've maybe watched 1,000 hours of YouTube content. Have you ever benefited? If you got paid $1 an hour, have you ever benefited? And it's okay that you haven't, and it's okay that you got scared. Because what we're doing by doing friends, F-R-E-N-S, which is how a dog says friends. Ever watch those videos where a cat is friends with 6 ducklings and then they have little captions? Friends, F-R-E-N-S. Those videos crack me up. Building in public. By doing a book report on a video, we're building something that initially seems like there's no way that this can be a snowball rolling down a hill. Have I been talking without my microphone on? Have I been raw dogging? That's embarrassing. Times better now. I literally had a microphone that was disconnected. It doesn't matter. You guys will take this content raw dogged. Is this a snowball rolling down a hill? It is. Why snowball down a hill? Because initially it seems so insignificant. Is it page 123 of Warren Buffett's book, his biography? Yeah, because the initial biography that we were talking about was George Washington, Web 12, which is Warren Buffett writing a letter to Ben Graham saying, OMG, I can't believe you're a living legend. Page 123. Should I pull it out? The math for Warren Buffett, chapters 1 through 64. Here's the math. Chapter 65, Columbia, Springboard. Chapter 66, Snowball, hashtag EUTWM, PPM. Chapter 67, Chapter 19. Chapter 68, the Bitcoin wave, chapters 19 through 33. Chapter 69, faux franchise. Are we going to conjure up a faux franchise right now to make you $800 for the 5th time or the first time? Yeah. Let's go. 2 girls, 1 cup of algebra. 2 girls, 1 cup of algebra. Why is that hilarious? Because it sounds like a joke where you now are going to have to do what I had to do, which is be a math tutor. If you look at VCs in Silicon Valley, 80% of them did tutoring. Why? Because it's hard to do tech sales as your first job. It helped if you did something that was technical and salesy, which is tutoring. Why is tutoring tech sales? Because you're having to walk through, in my case, dozens of women who weren't very good at math. And their rich parents are like, let's pay this Chinese guy money. And the interview process was never about, hey, how good are you at math? It's, oh, if you get my daughter pregnant because you're her tutor, I think we'd be okay with it. Tutoring, tech sales. By tutoring, you're trying to get people slightly excited about math class. This is algebra. This is day 31 of the 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. Wait a minute, Larry. If there are only 26 days, why is it day 31? Like all things that are amazing, which is what we're still talking about, which is chapter 69, Snowball, which is if things really are amazing, there's a component that runs longer than the 64 chapters. There's a component that runs longer than, hey, this party that was open bar was 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Why are all these people trying to get into the party at 12:30? I'm trying to shut this party down. This party just tripled in size. Well, that's because it was amazing. If it dies down at 11:30, your party sucked. This is chapter 69, your 800th, your fifth bite at the apple to make $800, which is the joke franchise of can you market a snowball May 1, May 2, May 3rd for when Charlie and Warren retire from Berkshire Hathaway? You can. This is your seventh bite at $800. Why? Everybody is going to ask the question, isn't Berkshire Hathaway going to suck now that Charlie and Warren are retired? No, they should have retired 10 years ago. They definitely should have retired 5 years ago. But I understand hanging on way past your prime. Okay, I understand that. I understand that concept. Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, do you understand it? Which is, I understand people asking the retarded question of, isn't Berkshire Hathaway going to suck? No, it's the dude waiting to be successful when the dude retires, which is why when Michael Burry shut down Scion on November 15, that's you understanding why I'm seemingly like a genius with memorizing algebra. Phil is the heir apparent to Michael Burry. Michael Burry posted Phil's cell phone number, which I promptly texted. During the shutdown notice of, look, I'm going to retire on top. My name's Michael Burry. And oh, by the way, day 31, aka December 1st, I'm dropping a whopper where my algebra ties into GameStop. Like, who does that form of legendary shit? Which is, oops, did I just show you that I'm the most successful Ben Graham investor, the intelligent investor, by Michael Burry saying on December 1, hey, it's the algebra. Where did I get this algebra from? Phil. I got this algebra from Phil. Do people understand what is being talked about? No. That's why you have an opportunity to say, hey, would you like would you like some Ben Graham? Would you like some Ben Graham? Remember, we're doing Ben Graham s'mores. These jokes just write themselves. Ben Graham s'mores, May 1, May 2, May 3. What's a Ben Graham s'more? I don't know. It's got some algebra. And then you just have the graham crackers with some algebra sayings. PV equals nRT. Who knows? Who knows? I do know. Let's come up with the Ben Graham s'more. Would you like some more algebra? Thank you for helping me get better. Thank you for helping me become amazing. Because because Ben Graham s'mores is amazing. Why am I always out of green tea? Mom and Dad, if you're watching, how impressed are you? Very impressed, I know. The jade plant are clippings, and I put them into a glass bowl that I got from Goodwill. The Goodwill that was right around the corner from Dad's facility. I know. I walked over and I got not even 10 bucks worth of stuff, and I made it look like it's $4,000. Where you got scared that I spent $4,000, but it was actually less than 20 bucks. I know. This is doing a turnaround of using basically no money. I mean, I bought that stuff from Goodwill. It looked amazing, right? What we're doing here is, would you like some more algebra? With a Ben Graham s'more with a graham cracker inside joke from the chef. Why? Because the s'mores is how the chef, Ralph Fiennes, ends up killing 50 people by burning his own restaurant down because the chef went insane and he used s'mores to light everybody on fire. That's the s'mores joke. That's an external API. So you're combining The Big Short, DJing The Big Short to the Chef movie. And there's a bunch of private equity douchebags who are eating in the restaurant in the movie called The Chef. It's Ralph Fiennes. He's a celebrity chef, and he uses graham crackers to incinerate 50 people. That's the party that is Ben Graham s'mores, which is algebra. So this is us conjuring up a joke franchise, which is chapter 69. Chapter 70, 6.15 Bitcoin. That's it. That's your retirement. Chapter 71, Duck 9, deeply understanding debit data, deeply understanding credit knowledge, deeply understanding capital knowledge, deeply undervalued debit data. Chapter 72, venue 4 is actually venue 1. Oh my God. Okay, so the reason venue 4 is actually venue 1 is people get really confused. People get really confused. So people need to meet people. Remember, we're talking about friends. People need to meet people in the real world. Remember, friends, 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 friends. Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, friends. People need to meet people in the real world because most people are not necessarily NPCs, but basically NPCs where it's fake people on fake content, faking everything, where people are going to need not to always meet you in person, but they're going to need you at least meet you in person one time. Or can you at least appear in a Zoom call or a YouTube live? A lot of people have a hard time doing that too. This is the ultimate in F you, I'm real, is venue 4 is actually venue 1. Let me go over what I'm talking about. So, remember with all those different days that I rifled off? Well, here's another day for you, which is your anchor day, which is day 69 of hashtag 55 days of Gemini 3 at SF Super Bowl. Let me repeat that so that way you can write it down. It's hashtag 55 days of Gemini 3 at SF Super Bowl. And at is not the at sign, it's AT. A third time, hashtag 55 days of Gemini 3 at SF Super Bowl. That's day number 69 of the 55 days is actually a Super Bowl in San Francisco. You see, people can't wait for Ben Graham Day. People can't wait for that because Ben Graham S'more Day, that's May 1, 2026. We want to do something on day number 65 of 55 days of Gemini 3 at SF Super Bowl, which is February 5th. February 5th, the joke franchise of doing Ben Graham S'more Day. Because Ben Graham S'more Day is going to help people connect day 5 of hashtag 26 days of OpenAI ducking BK. Because NVIDIA, OpenAI, GameStop, Algebra, Ben Graham, S'mores, the Chef movie, these are all connected, and now you just need to draw people a map. You see, we're now best friends because I showed you my map. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons. You're in danger right now because you're in a prison called the imploding economic system about to be reset. There is so much volatility that some people are going to drown. I can't save everybody, but I can save a good number of starfish. Get it? I'm walking along the beach. You're a starfish who's washed upon shore. I'm trying to save you with jokes and telling you that I am your dungeon master. You're playing a game that you don't realize that you're in right now, which is a prison. It's basically a debt prison, but they don't put you into a prison, the entire world, that's the prison. I'm your dungeon master. Did this video just become amazing? Yeah. We are not living in a simulation. We're living in a world where some people get to succeed because they see red pill, orange pill, blue pill, black pill, double orange pill. Having one red pill of, oh my God, Epstein didn't kill himself, to another red pill of, oh my God, I didn't know that the Federal Reserve wasn't federal nor have any reserves. This is why thermodynamics is lecture 11 of Stram GT 353. I'm normally not this good at being this well prepared, but today I just got lucky. Why? Because chapter 17 is in this book. There is no chapter 17 in a 6th edition. Wait a minute. The 6th edition got worse? This is you finally understanding that some businesses spend $14 million for a renovation only to become worse. Let me repeat that. Some hotels spend millions of dollars in renovation only to become worse. Are we wondering why that is? No. We're financially benefiting from this true truth, which is day number 65 of the hashtag 55 days of Gemini 3 at SF Super Bowl is Ben Graham S'mores, which is, did you read Ben Graham? No, but I own it, Larry. Okay. Did you read Michael Burry, December 1, Algebra Memo? No, but I favorited it and I was going to read it later. Okay. Well, would you like to know what we're talking about? Yeah, I'm fascinated because I was asking myself these questions. I was asking myself these same questions. Are these questions connected to day number 32 of hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK? Do you see how this is the most valuable video that anyone's ever come up with? Because what you're doing is you're taking a book, you're selling this book for 800 bucks. But Larry, they could have gotten that book off of your friend Jeff's website for less than 50 bucks. Yeah, they could have, but they won't. Why? Because it's a better deal to buy the book for 800 bucks from you. Why? It's a better deal because of the Warren Buffett Snowball book. That book is less than 20 bucks, but I just showed you 7 times already how that book is 800 bucks. And if you don't believe that I already showed you 7 times, let me show you for an 8th time, or maybe the first time that you've ever really listened to say, oh my God, he's going to hand over 8 $100 bills. All I need to do is locate a pen, because it takes a pen to map out chapter 65. That's it. That's it. Problem. Warren Buffett's retired. He's not going to write another book with Alice Seibold. Plus, why would he write another book that you didn't read when you didn't read the book that's 10 years old? Am I guilty of that too? Yes. Yes. Because everyone was like, read Warren Buffett's book. I'm like, I'm not going to read that book. Okay? I don't believe in him, and I think his shit's all inside deals via the Cantillon effect of standing close to the money printer. I don't believe in any of that. Turns out I finally read that book, and now here's the 600, 800 bucks, which is chapter 65, which is his book only has 64 chapters. This is you publishing a sequel. This is you publishing a sequel chapter. Is this one chapter worth $800? Fuck yeah. This is why. Because Columbia Business School is in tatters right now. I mean, nobody ever talks about it, right? And it's your safety school for if you didn't go to Harvard, Stanford, Harvard, right? Nobody dreams since they're a kid to go to Columbia Business School. They're just there because they didn't get into Stanford. This is what we're doing is we're going to fix the fact that you had to go to Columbia, okay? We're going to fix that, and maybe, just maybe Larry Chang's going to teach at Columbia and help it become the number one school. But let's not put the buggy before the dog. Let's try to mitigate. Let's try to ship one thing before we try to do something even more easy. This is what we're doing. Is we're selling one chapter for $800. Larry, nobody will pay that. That's because you're only friends with poor people. Rich people, they need future knowledge now. Have you heard of payment for order flow? This is a way to gamify understanding what's going to happen in the future today, because Warren Buffett only has 64 chapters. In fact, you even telling people that he's got 64 chapters only, that will pretty much get some people to be like, all right, cool. If you want 800 bucks, I'll pay it. What do you got? And what you got is chapter 65, which is Engineering 245 Lean Launchpad. Am I DJing a Columbia engineering class into the business school? Yes, that's chapter 65. It's also page 123, which is Ben Graham receiving a letter from Warren Buffett. Aw, Brady, I never get puppy kisses. You just puppy kiss my hand. You want me to put you down? Oh, Brady puppy kissed me. What is that, your 7th puppy kiss for 2025? Brady, look. Look how nice I am to you when you puppy kiss. Want to go for a walk? Name a dog Tom Brady, doesn't give you puppy kisses. Oh well. Chapter 65. Good job paying attention. You're about to benefit. Page 123 never really gets expanded upon, which is how did Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, to me, it's the same dude. How did Warren Buffett get into Columbia? Remember, he went to University of Nebraska, Lincoln, Omaha. He went to the Omaha version. There's 2 University of Nebraskas. Both of them are shit. Let's be honest. They're both shit colleges. How do you go to University of Nebraska, shittier version than Lincoln, and then get into Columbia? Like, Columbia is a tier 2 Ivy. How do you go from worst college in the Midwest to an Ivy school? Any Ivy. Well, page 123 says he got in the way that I got into Stanford GSB, which is I wrote a letter to Irv Grousbeck, which was, to summarize, page 123. Ben Graham, I use your book all the time. I can't believe you're still alive. That makes you a living legend. Can I come? I have some questions for you. That's how he got in. That's how I got in to Stanford. The reason I finally read the book is I told somebody my Irv Grousbeck story, and then Irv Grousbeck goes, yeah, 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 come. Someone said, that's how Warren Buffett got in. I'm like, what? No, really? I kind of heard, and by the seventh person, it was some like random Indian dude who's like, yeah, yeah, that's how he got into Columbia. I'm like, look, if this retard from fucking Vanderbilt engineering knows more about Warren Buffett than I do, I gotta study this Warren Buffett book. I got to. I got to. I'm not gonna let some remedial retard, some retard from Vanderbilt engineering, tell me about money. Okay, so so I caught up by reading that book. That's what we're doing for 800 bucks, which is the joke title, which is what I would call it, which is what Vanderbilt engineering would teach Warren Buffett about chapter 65. The jokes just write themselves. Why is that funny? One, everybody knows that Vanderbilt engineering is complete crap. Okay, it's complete crap. It sounds like it'd be smart people. It's like Northwestern engineering. Like, come on, come on. You only went to Vanderbilt because you couldn't get in to some other school like University of Tennessee. Okay, that's why you went to Vanderbilt, is because you have rich parents, or worse, you don't have rich parents, and then you're like, yeah, I'll take the $275,000 in debt. That's why you're at Vanderbilt. But that's why that chapter is extra hilarious, because you're ripping on Vanderbilt people for being rich kids when they're not rich because they've got that much in debt. But now you get to then say MGT corporate valuation 6443, Vanderbilt Finance. Now you're saying MGT 6531, Vanderbilt Engineering, Financial Engineering, MGT 6534. In fact, that's $80,000 that I just gave you, because you can use AI to say, what is Larry Chang talking about when it comes to MGT 6534 with LBOs, and how LBOs, leverage buyouts, can be saving me $80,000, so that way I don't have to go to Vanderbilt for an engineering degree, and Vanderbilt for LOL, a master's in finance, or an MBA. Am I calling out Stanford grad transfers? No, I'm not calling you out. I'm having you mentor me, Tommy O'Rourke. Thank you for picking Stanford. Thank you for your friendship. And thank you for telling me those three classes within the construct of me helping you sell for $800, chapter 65. How proud of myself am I right now? How proud of myself am I? I'm super proud of myself because I gave you $800. Where's this $800 coming from? If you can't find one person that would value this at $80,000 or $800,000, punch yourself in the face for not even trying. One, the hook is hilarious, which is what Vanderbilt engineering can teach Warren Buffett. That's hilarious. That's hilarious because that's going to cause people to say, Vanderbilt engineering, I went to University of Illinois, Vandy sucks. Oh, I didn't know you guys even had an engineering program. Like, the jokes just write themselves. The attacks just write themselves. What do you do after a person attacks you? You close them for money, because if they're confused and can't attack, that means they don't know what's going on, in which case, move on. What Vanderbilt engineering can teach Warren Buffett? The answer is chapter 65, which is Columbia Springboard, hashtag ENGR1245. Turbo hike. That's all chapter 65 is Columbia engineering. How do I know this? How do I know this? How do I know this? Because Steve Blank, he taught at Stanford, Cal, and Columbia. Is chapter 65 simply engineering 245? It is. And do you see how chapter 65 is Warren Buffett doing a collaboration with Steve Blank via you? Well, via me and you, but via you, where you say, can I sell 3 people an $800 chapter called Chapter 65 called What Vanderbilt Engineering Would Teach Warren Buffett? Because what Vanderbilt Engineering would teach Warren Buffett is answered using this book, which is hashtag ENGR245 with a class at Columbia. I know Warren Buffett didn't take it, but I bet if he did take it, I bet he'd learn it pretty well. That's what you're telling people is chapter 65. You can DJ in the Michael Burry. You can DJ in whatever you want. It's so simple, which is how does Vanderbilt Engineering connect to Columbia Business School? That's it. And before you say, oh, but Larry, I'm 17 years away from a 4-year Stanford engineering degree. Yes, you're 17 years away from a 4-year Stanford engineering degree. Don't demoralize yourself because that's true. Okay, don't. Just go before this video ends. Go from 17 years away from a 4-year Stanford engineering degree to 16.8-year away from a 4-year Stanford engineering degree. Do you see how you've gotten better, even though you still suck, but now you're better? Because eventually you're going to be 3 years away from a 4-year Stanford engineering degree. And once you're 3 years away from a 4-year engineering degree, now you're Sam Altman, who is 3 years away from a Stanford engineering degree, having gone to Stanford, dropped out, and then had Achilles heels the size of a 5 foot 17, 5 foot 17-inch Achilles heel. Get it? It's a 6 foot 5 foot long Achilles heel called What Did Sam Altman Ask on September 14, 2015. If you don't know who Sam Altman is, let's put him on the board. No, I'm not going to write it inverted for you. I'm going to write it reverted, which is being honest with yourself. Larry, I'm 17 years away from a 4-year engineering degree at Stanford. Most people, when I ask them, hey, you've been saying some retarded stuff, you're a retard, in parentheses. Can I ask you a question? How many years would it take for you to get a 4-year engineering degree? Like a bachelor's? How many years? If people say, bro, I went to Cal, that answer would be it would take you 0 years to get a 4-year engineering degree because you have a better engineering degree because you went to Cal. Why is Cal a better engineering degree? I have no skin in the game. It's because at Stanford, people are cheering for you to try to graduate. At Cal, they're trying to cut you off at the knees. But let's get back to honest questions. Question: how many years would it take for you to get a 4-year engineering degree from Stanford? How many years? Most people say, duh, 4. But that's not accurate because they can't do algebra. Is this me doing a callback to algebra? December 1, 2025. Algebra, callback. Day 31 of hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. It is. And the deliciously scandalous component to that is algebra took place 4 years before college. Why is algebra important? Because it's the NVIDIA short thesis combined with the GameStop long thesis, can't stop, won't stop, Chang stop. Larry, are you pitching me stock right now? No! You don't need money to make money. You take this limitless book, you take this limitless book, you take this limitless book, you bring it to a Super Bowl party on day number 67 of hashtag 55 days of Gemini 3 at SF Super Bowl, and you charge people $800 for this one book. They're just sitting here in a coffee shop in downtown Palo Alto or the Four Seasons in East Palo Alto. They're just sitting there, and people are going to say, hey, are you doing a book signing? You're like, no, I'm selling these copies. I'm not Jim Quick. Tell me more. Tell me more. You're doing a what now? I'm doing a pop-up where I'm selling you this book for $800. Why would I buy this book for $800? Did you not get any value from me selling you chapter 65 for $800? Chapter 65 of what? What are you talking about? Of Snowball. Of Snowball. This is how you get deal flow on $0. You're not buying women drinks. You're not buying people muffins to get interested in your $800 book club. You're not doing advertising. You're literally hanging a book on a table where people are going to say a question. And then when you hear that question, you go right to one of the things that we have already mapped out, which is how many years away from a 4-year engineering degree are you? Oh, I'm a freshman, so 3 years. Okay. But did you know that the founder of OpenAI, Scam Altman, he is 3 years away from a 4-year engineering degree? That's what we all discovered on September 14, 2015. Stanford's a place where you can actually teach without an undergraduate degree and then get roasted by a guy who didn't go to Stanford, who memorized all the entrepreneurship lectures. This is mushy, mushy, mushy. This is getting an A plus in memorization. This is chapter 13 of Limitless. This is where we seem like we're the smartest person in Silicon Valley. No, I'm not the smartest person in Silicon Valley. What I did was I memorized all of the ways that you go bankrupt. I memorized them. And before your portfolio company is about to go bankrupt, I will tell you how your portfolio company is going bankrupt. Who talks this much trash? Another Larry Not Larry the Starfish. Not Larry Chang. I'm Larry Chang. Not Larry Chang, GameStop board of director. I'm talking about a Larry that talked a legendary amount of shit, which is Larry Bird. Larry Bird would tell you pull up, pull up, spin, glass. He would tell you what he was going to do. One dribble left, pump fake, glass. He would tell you what he was going to do to you and then do it to you. And then you'd be like, what in the world just happened? Because that's how good he was at trash talking. I am not Larry Bird. I am a different Larry Legend in that I'm showing you how to avoid bankruptcy and showing you a way to benefit before other people think about avoiding bankruptcy. Because even the word itself is so emotional. This is why this works every time, 100% of the time, is you get a scouting report, you get the teacher's guide, you get to win at math class before other people take math class. You are, in essence, cheating by doing deeply understood Chinese knowledge because I'm telling you, there is no chapter 65. I wrote it because in Alice Seibold's book, there are only 64 chapters. Chapter 65 is an extension of page 123. This is knowledge that rich people would pay $800 for. Why? Because rich people can't read either, and their smartphone is killing them. Your phone's not so smart, it's really just breaking your brain. Rich people realize this. They need to connect to people that have repaired their brain. Are you a person who could repair their brain? Yeah, as you read the fact that they've got sleep apnea, which is mewing, tongue placement. Did I just switch over to the vagina whisperer? You tell me. Because the level that we're reaching towards is not going 9 to 7. It's not going 6 to 7. The level that we're marching towards is, can you ship and sell one chapter, chapter 65? Can you become friends in public? Can you do protocol writing letters? Can you do method, a book report on this video? Can you process, see it, do it, teach it? Can you Web 12 your first video? Can you extrapolate and read ahead in a book where the book has a limited number of chapters, chapters 1 through 64? Can you read in public as you bring two books that are the same version of the book? Can you do lead generation in public, IRL, in real life? Lead gen with letting people cold open you and not getting distracted while you're doing two books, one girl. Not getting distracted by doing two girls, one cup of knowledge. Not getting distracted by doing step one, which is, hey, can you say thank you? Step one, can you say thank you? Step one, can you run an external API? Step 1A, can you post a post on YouTube? Step 1AA, can you write 12 sentences that summarizes a YouTube? Or can you write 12 sentences over email? Letters. It's a two-way manifestation of bullshit into dollars. Let me repeat that. Letters. A two-way manifestation of BS into dollar sign, pound sign, yen sign, letters. Web 12 fixes this. And that's chapter 65. That's more than 65. That's a slew of step ones. Will you take step one? Letters. It's a giant dollop of delayed gratification. Do you see how the gratification in removing liking, the gratification of I don't care what number of new people subscribe to this, this should be a one video and done situation where you hear crabs in a bucket, you hear George Washington, Web 12, algebra, GameStop. How are these things connected? When you connect pieces, you're not doing red pill. You're doing a double orange pill where you're back to pretending that you're blue pill, Pollyanna, everything's just fine. This video is ending. Was this video the most valuable video that you've ever watched? Have you committed to getting better in your YouTube practice? Have you considered mapping out where you're going via a map that is a live action map? Remember, you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you've never played before, and now you've never mathed before, and you've also never built in public. Will you turn the Twitter app not into a political statement, but into a live action map that you're building, that you're saying, okay, Larry Chang said this random hashtag. This is how I'm going to expand on a prior. This is my map. This is my plotting forward with going from video to video, getting better. This is my treasure map of I'm locating what I'm understanding and more importantly doing on Twitter where you're doing web 12, going you're going towards the lowest of financial outcomes, which is can you make $800 while investing $0? Because if you think, oh, I'm going to need to owe $275,000 before I can take step one, you didn't read chapter 65 that you can get assembled via Gemini 3, which is here on YouTube, Gemini 3. Oh, is there a delightful hashtag for day number 2 of hashtag 55 days of Gemini 3 at SF Super Bowl, with today being day number 2? Yes, which is Gemini 3. Write out what the ROI would be for somebody giving me $800 for chapter 65. What would Larry Chang's mapped out chapter 65 be for Warren Buffett's book Snowball as it connects to Steve Blank? Chapter 65, Warren Buffett collaborating with Steve Blank using Columbia as a springboard. Oh, is that a 17th effort to try to help you make $800? It is. Do you need me to repeat any of that?